Welcome, and thank you for tuning in to the American Investor Show. Please click subscribe if this is your first time listening. From trader and CEO interviews to breaking news about companies you won't hear anywhere else, nobody does a better job at keeping you in the know when it comes to penny stocks. The term penny stock generally refers to a security issued by a very small company that trades at less than $5 per share. Penny stocks are extremely risky, yet they offer rates of return on investment not seen anywhere else. The host, guest, and callers are not registered financial advisors licensed by any government entity, and therefore, the following should be considered entertainment. The host, guest, and callers disclaim all liability in the event any information, commentary, analysis, opinions, advice, and/or recommendations prove to be inaccurate, incomplete, or unreliable, or result in any investment losses. Before investing in penny stocks, you should consult a professional to determine what strategy may be best for your individual needs. Now, without further ado, your host, Tsla
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Welcome back to the American Investor Show, Penny Stock Live. Shout out to the people coming into the chat room. Look, we are going down, folks. I had some people come into my inbox saying, "Sal, what do you think about this call?" I'm like, "You buying calls? They're giving you the game on the platter, my friend. They're giving you the game on the platter. This is an opportunity for you to buy puts into this incredible bull trap that they're setting up here." Look, the President of the United States has made it very clear that he wants to solve the trade deficit. Okay? He's looking to cure a $500 billion gap that we have with some of our biggest trading partners. That is going to require, yes, that was the right word, for this market to come down. Okay? All right? There have been some companies doing business in Asia, all right, ripping off the American worker, and now those companies are going to have to take the L. All right? They're going to have to take the L. You know, these semiconductors, these electronic companies, right, that have been screwing over the American worker. The American worker squeezed like never before, barely making ends meet. Shout out to the people in the chat room. Bad Scientist, DPG, fuck you, Felix Sapini. Hey, Felix, I think it's been a minute since I've seen you, bro. Big Ken the Barber. Callie Rob, what's up? K-Mac15, Terry Cherry. Gerardo, Ken, what's up? Jeff the Marine, Gucci, Charles Walker. Yeah, Charles, I think it's been a minute I've seen you. Shirley Lewis, Lawrence Kane, Corey Kwan. Shout out to all you guys. 559, you're my first caller. What's up?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Good, good. Who am I speaking with?
My name is Nubby.
All right, and what you got for us, bro?
I have two tickers. It's in the pennies. It's penny stock. One is AMMX. I know you got into it a while back. It didn't pop, but I think it's an amazing time to buy. Most people aren't aware of it.
Why? What makes you say so?
Can I? I'm gonna type the link of their website in the comment section, and I'm just gonna read off the contract they're getting.
Well, just summarize for us. Just summarize for us. I mean, people can do their own research. Well, I mean, why do you think this is a good investment here?
It's a company that rents or leases, and after a lease, they also give the client an opportunity to buy the equipment. Basically, it's all construction. It has to do all with construction, not just in America, but also around the world. They lease. And last year in 2017, they had a 15% increase in revenues. They had a 1.4 million net after sales, after all their bills were paid off. And first quarter of 2018, they made a 6.9 million first quarter. And I've also heard that it's close to 10 million, but the 6.9 million they published not only on OTC markets, but they've also published that on their own website. So rather than, compared to normal stocks, but also one thing is they have not maybe done the perfect press releases to where they've never published anything on Investor Hub. Most companies that pump, they normally publish on Investor Hub, and they haven't. And two, there was a conference call, and during the conference call, they also said there was a conference call on March 30th, and that was a holiday, by the way, last week. And they said that they're going to, all the contracts they've gotten, they're going to get it audited and verified by a second party, and it's going to be big.
Yeah, here's my thoughts on AMMX, because they're a company, they've been around for a long time. I'm sure you've done some research on it. And, they're very, I love the numbers. The numbers look good, but they've got a lot of paper out there. They are dilution kings, okay, over there at AMMX. And I don't want, I love the story. The story is great. But the fact of the matter is, I do not believe this company honestly wants to see the stock price go up. I just feel like they don't care. If you look at the Twitter, you go to their Twitter page, they don't even bother to put a picture. I mean, this is something that I've approached the company like 2 years ago, and I said, look, hey, you gotta do better here. I mean, you got a Twitter profile that has like it's as if it's a new account. I mean, they don't even have an avatar. They don't have a banner for their business. I mean, it's as if they don't give a fuck. I've reached out to AMMX several times, and I just don't think they give a fuck, honestly. And this is a company, again, look into that 10K, man. I mean, this is a company that loves to give away paper, and I would hate for you to fall in love only to be disappointed.
I'm up 1,800 on it, but the way the chart is set up to ask us in, I'm not going to sell yet. I personally think, say, playing the chart, because I mostly do OTC stocks, and there's a lot of crappy companies that go up a grip. You know what I mean? And the way it's set up, I feel like it could really jump. And just saying, I know they're trying to build a wall, whatever, by California and all that. Just in case, say, they do everything right and they throw that in there. I feel like just the momentum, just the momo of it, the whole market is coming down, whatever, and the whole momo of it can definitely push it. You know what I mean?
Okay. What was your second ticker?
All right, so I'm already going to get heat for this one. I've been holding shares close to 800,000 shares for over a year, and I've bought more recently. My second ticker is INTK. All right, now I'm going to start off with the quick market.
INTK?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Okay, cool. There's marketresearchfeatures.com. This company sells their 140-page research report to companies or hedge funds around the world. They charge $4,550. They sell it in USD, euros, the pound, the yen, and the Indian rupees. And I'm gonna just read a small little paragraph, okay? It says key players. Basically, what the sector they were researching was nano paints or nanomaterials added to paints or liquid, and they're sprayed inside homes for insulation on outside the homes or buildings to prevent the home from getting heated up, and also for corrosion prevention in oil pipelines, wind turbines, boilers under massive buildings, and all that good stuff. But anyways, this was not a PR. This was something I totally randomly came across by just searching a whole bunch. They say key players in this sector. I'll leave a link in the comments. It says the key players of the global industrial coating market are, I'm going to pronounce some of these names wrong because they're European or something. AkzoNobel, N.V, there's BASF-SE, there's PPG Industries, Valspar, Sherwin-Williams, DuPont. These guys are worth like $30 billion or something like that. A couple of these companies over here, they're European and American, and they're worth billions of dollars. And they also mention Industrial Nanotech Inc. The company is not known as Industrial Nanotech anymore. It's known as I&I Worldwide. And basically, The blueprint of the company, I'll tell you this, is they've been trading for 14 years. The company was making sales, but they were in debt. 3 years ago, they were in debt. They were making money, but they were still in debt. What the CEO did, the CEO is a scientist. He created the product. He has patents on the product. What he did was he fired most of his team. He kept the best players, the best people in the team. And what they did is they literally restructured. They paid off the debt. Now, all of this isn't verified, but we all have to take a risk for great gains. So what he did is he fired a lot of the people. They concentrated on sales. 2015, they fired people. 2016, end of 2016 was when a lot of this changed. 2017, they're making sales, this and that. From my understanding, is they're out of debt. 2018, they're saying they're coming into sales high rev. They made the new Twitter account that says Yten Worldwide in 2017.
Get out of here, you damn nigger!
I couldn't take it no more, man. I couldn't take it no more, man. Look, man, I know I came off like an asshole, and I don't like to usually do that. I don't like to be disrespectful, man. But I just, you know, game recognized game, man. And I don't know, maybe you haven't been watching my videos, bro. I mean, you know, when I hear that, it's like been there, done that. You see what I'm saying? Been there, done that. And I'm just not the guy you got to do that with. You know, maybe you got to watch some of my old videos, but I'm just not. I'm the last guy you need to do that with. He's got to watch a little bit more of my videos. He's got to watch a little bit more of my videos. All right. All right, so let's get back to it, man. Let's get back to some real money out here. Like I was saying, you know, QQQ, the market, SPY, DIA, they were all up today. And you had some people who thought that today was an opportunity to buy some calls to go long. And ladies and gentlemen, today was the day to buy some puts. And if these after-hours prices are any indication, it's going to be a beautiful Friday for put buyers today. Ken, you're on the air. What's up, man?
Yeah, I had a really good day yesterday. That's on the RNVA and the FUSZ. Did really one of my better days of the year yesterday.
Yeah, FUSZ, I saw you, Ken. I mean, look, I was looking at the chart. I'm looking like, oh, FUSZ. You know, this thing has been a sucker. But sure enough, bro, you get an incredible dip buy opportunity yesterday on that stock, man.
Yeah, and I mean, I knew there was going to be that 3:15 p.m. interview with the CEO of the company, and with the stock going down, I think it had a low of like 78. I just took a position. It was a nice bounce, and today it came down a little bit, but the volume declined today. So see where it goes.
Yeah.
The other one, the RNVA, that's made a nice move. It broke above the 50-day moving average. The volume's coming into it. Someone thinks there's going to be something with the hospital acquisition on May 1st.
I'm a big fan, Ken, of RNVA. I love that. I mean, this is the kind of OTC play we got. You know, you can get excited about. I mean, I don't know what the other guy was talking about, but RNVA. The company came out, they delisted, they basically got themselves delisted. They said, hey, if we're going to be a company that's going to last, that's going to, you know, really create investor value, we're going to have to spend a lot of money. They you know, went through, unfortunately, some earnings reports showing losses because they understood that they had to make long-term investments that were going to, unfortunately, cost them short-term, you know, opportunities. And now, you know, RNVA is finally, you know, finding some life again because they've got that hospital that they've spent over $30 million. Well, yeah, just not 30 million, but I would say maybe less than 20 million renovating. And now it's back online. And it's driven, you know, generating revenue finally. So you're going to see RNVA finally, you know, really work its way out of these lower levels. But you got to be patient with it. But I'm telling you right now, you're already seeing people who were rewarded, at the 0050 level. And I have no doubt by end of the year or even or sooner, you could be talking about a 3-cent or even a 4-cent stock in our NVA.
Yeah, I agree. Yep. Thanks. And then I wanted to that one that made that crazy move, the Longfin LFIN, yesterday afternoon. I don't know if you were aware. Around 3:15, they mentioned the CEO is going to be in CNBC. Stock, I think, closed at 10.5, and today he had a short squeeze. The stock went to 22 intraday, and I didn't do it. I was just too chicken to buy it. I was afraid it get halted, whatever. But that was the easiest trade you could have ever made.
Yeah, I mean, today was a big day on Elfin. I same here. I didn't get any piece of it, but it was a great day to buy a stock like this. It's a relatively thin play as well, and I mean, congrats to the guys who won big on Elfin. It was an interesting move today. It was a 2-day mover too, really? By the way. So nice play on that.
Yeah, what an amazing trade. What do you think of? I know the markets are tanking because of what Trump said after hours. But you have the jobs report 8:30. You think it'll be an opportunity for another bounce like what happened yesterday?
I don't know. I think traders are in real denial. I think traders are really underestimating the kind of investment that's going to have to take place. When we're talking about a high tariff situation where, these products that we've gotten so used to buying in China, now we've got to, produce here. That requires some of these companies to dig into their coffers and make some real investments in this country. And I think that's what Trump wants to see happen. And, he's got the backing for it. So, they're going to have to come due with some money, bro. Some investments have got to be made. And that means, lower possible earnings for some of these companies, at least in the short term or even in the long term, and a change in, what we're seeing, at some of these valuations, So I'm a shorter here. I think I'm biased to the put side, and I think we're going lower, significantly lower. And, and it's for the good of the country long term, but in the short term, there's going to be some pain.
And for those people that keep on CNBC and all, well, don't worry, the earnings from Facebook and all those tech are going to save the day. I don't think so, because I think that these companies are going to be talking about the tariffs in the next few months, and that's going to discount the earnings.
I agree. And any earnings news, they're going to play that. They're going to sell into any kind of bounce on that. Right? I think this earnings season is a selling opportunity. So you get a company that puts out explosive earnings, that's an opportunity for you to take your profits and run, because whatever company that is, 9 times out of 10, if there's something with global exposure, they're going to be paying twice or how God knows how much more to produce that product in whatever country they do that in, or to sell that product or service in whatever country outside of the United States. So this is a selling opportunity this earnings season. I don't think you buy into this earnings season. So again, those guys on CNBC, they are paid to tell you to buy, right? They have a conflict of interest to get you to buy stock, because that's how they make money, right? And you don't get on CNBC by saying, I don't know. You have to have an answer, and the easiest answer to say is buy, because you don't have to really explain, much else after, hey, buy it. It's going up, earnings will be great, blah, blah, blah. I think this is a buying opportunity, blah, blah, blah. So it's harder. It's harder to sell the downside move, and people have to accept it. And what happened today is guys didn't accept it, and sure enough, they're getting burned here after hours.
Yeah, and Art Cashman was on CNBC at 4 o'clock, and he keeps saying that it's funny. 1987 had many days like today and this week that led up to the crash in '87. Interesting.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about that, Ken. The TED rate, right? We're seeing the LIBOR now still getting to those lows, 2-point-something%. I think the 2.3s now. So I mean. Yes, I mean, credit is getting tighter. Liquidity is drying up in the banking space. We're seeing some issues across the ocean, right, in Germany with that situation, with those banks. I saw somebody in the chat room also bring up real estate in Australia being a huge bubble that's showing some weakness now. and again, I think a lot of people, 2017 was great, but I think, times have changed now, and you've got to take your profits here and accept that we may have already had our high for 2018.
Yeah, that's it'll be interesting. Good training opportunities. So that's it. Thanks.
Appreciate it, Ken.
All right.
Yes, indeed, man. Look, I get it. A lot of people don't want to hear that. A lot of people don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that we've had our high, right? They don't want to hear that what was that? 286 SPY on January 26th was the high for the year. But that could very well be, the reality based on what, our president is doing. Right? He honestly feels that it's in the best interest that, hey, we got to take it apart for us to put it back together in better for this country. So I say we're going to build that wall. He was a little bit short on the money necessary for, in this recent budget. So we'll see what happens in the next go around. But I did read somewhere where they're talking about sending the National Guard down there and whatnot. I just hope nobody gets hurt. Don't want anybody to get hurt down there. A lot of those people who are marching up, to our border, a lot of them are being misled. A lot of them are being sold dreams by, these organizations that, are all about, oh, look at the poor, hungry children, give us money. They could care less about those people's lives, man. Sending those people straight to the border to face M16s, man. So I'm saying prayers for those people. Shout out to people in the chat room right now. Said they're going to give that food for that sound effect. All right, SFOR oversold. Not there just yet. Look, you've had a really good run in SFOR. I mean, you're up 100% since February. All right, since February, you're up 100%. Less than 30 days later, you doubled your money. All right, you doubled your money. RESN. Semiconductor, small cap semiconductor play, RESN. All right. Looks like they had a good day today. Find out the reason on that. Do see some news. Looks like they got a new partner doing some business with them. RESN, nice ticker. Appreciate you for that. All right. Besides Elfin, it wasn't much else to really get excited about. Not much on the small cap side anyway. Did see some larger cap stocks run. OPNT is up after hours. Why is OPNT up after hours? This is a pretty low floater, pretty cheap. Are you guys seeing that too? OPNT at 24 after hours or something like that on the ask. Interesting. Not the cheapest stock in the world. WLB, that was an interesting play today as well. That 27% gain here on WLB. Here was the day on WLD. All right, not the greatest volume coming in, but brought in a lot of volume today as the company a couple of days ago posted a Q4 profit. When we talk about coal companies, the last thing you would hear in the same sentence with coal is profit. But sure enough, WLB posted a profit of $1.87 a share on Westmoreland. All right. Interesting. Posted revenue of $363 million for the quarter. $363 million for the quarter. Interesting play. Hey, K-Mac, what's your play? All right, let's go look at your tickers from the chat room. Tickers from your chat room, WR or ARWR. ARWR. 2017 has been pretty good for you. This is where you take off at here. 4 to 685, up 285 for the year so far. We're only in April. Down slightly today, so it looks like obviously some fundamentals here are working in their favor. ARWR, give me a call. You know my number, 305-600-2896. Fill us in on what's causing that trend here, seeing those higher lows going in the right direction. ARWR. All right. DLPN. Yeah, somebody hit it off on DLPN today on Black Box. I heard somebody made like $4,000 or $5,000 on Black Box on DLPN. Guy went all in basically in the chat room. Basically went all in at the open and killed it. Right? Went all in and killed it. Looks like it could have been a beautiful short for someone. All right, at those high 570s. Eventually closing at 326. Dolphin Entertainment, DLPN. Another earnings winner. Congrats to them. All right. Yes, indeed. I'll give that. That's a monster kill. Nice play. All right, nice little run from 4 to 570. All right, as you can see, the meat of the move was in the first 5 minutes. First 5 minutes of the trading day. Hate plays like that, but you know, some guys know how to do it and do it well. I absolutely hate plays like that. AQMS, Aqua Metals, mining play, small cap. You know, I be really aware of this sector, the commodities, the miners, right? We had I would say John Rambo in the chat room. He mentioned that he felt, or Peter Schiff felt that, you know, a lot of gold contracts are flooding the market intentionally to keep gold prices down. Is that true or not? I don't know. I haven't done my research on that, but I would, in an economic downturn, you know, if I were you, I'd pay very close attention to what's going on with the mining companies, and I would be following them to see what happens over the next couple days and weeks ahead. I would be paying close attention to them if I were you. ACBFF. Yeah, it was a tough day for the inverse traders like myself, but as you can see, after hours, we're going to be rewarded. Whatever you lost today on any of the inverse ETFs that I've talked about, right now, if the market was to open up right now, you made it all back and some. You made it all back and some. And in fact, tomorrow, you're going to open up with a significant amount of profit, and you're going to make more profit as guys sell off during the day. Right? As we now see, we're getting another 100 billion, all right, being announced by our government. And please believe China is going to clap back. China is going to clap back with their version. Right? This is a tit for tat game, right, we're playing here. The best thing you can do is stay short. Right? ACBFF. Aurora Cannabis stocks. I'm seeing that conversation happening again now with you know, Jeff Sessions. Is he on the outs? Does Trump still like him? Is he being productive? Blah, 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 blah. You know, we've said it here on the show that if Jeff Sessions is out, you're going to see that run. I don't know how long that run can last, but, you know, and guys have been hedging for a long time, right, and losing. Trying to make that bet. So just be careful. Do you know, personally, if you don't want to wait, you just wait till it happens and then go long when it happens, right? And go long when it happens. But I understand guys who want to take the whole meat of the move and get in early. But, you know, early was, you know, you could have said that 2 months ago. You could have said that 3 months ago. right? You could have said that back in November. Jeff Sessions might be out. He could be leaving, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's been a tough ride for you. It's been a tough ride for you if you've been still holding marijuana since the end of last year, hoping that Jeff Sessions is going to be out of your way. Let's keep it going. TLRD. Tailored Brands. Tailored Brands. Looks like it's a clothing and apparel retailer. Not familiar with the business. Give me a call. Juan de Casa. You said all your money is on it for the 4th day. It's all good. Yeah, looks like everything's been going well. 3.1% gain for you today. All right. Looks like it's been going well for you, sir. TLRD on that ticker. Nice play. Okay. I'll give you that. Looks like you've been enjoying a nice little run there on TLRD. All right. You're warming up here. Just be careful. You're warming up here, but so far, so good. So far, so good. PTN, Palantir Technologies. PTN. $1.20. This is kind of one of those stocks that I just, you know, I don't honestly know too much about it. I know you guys like to buy it. It's dirt cheap. You can really load up on it. It spikes here and there. But I would love if somebody called me up and tell me about, you know, what exactly they do. You know, it's a dirt cheap stock, right? Trading at 10 times earnings. All right, that's very, very cheap for this sector. You know, biotech tends to, you know, trade when they do have a PE at double digits, much higher than that. You're looking at maybe mid to high 20s as people predict that they'll be significantly valuable entities. But as we do know, most of them end up becoming worthless. All right, ACS, ACBFF is that Canadian weed play. That Canadian weed play. Irregardless, though, I still think, again, if Jeff Sessions retires, it still has an effect because we saw that, you know, when we had California legalization or, you know, during the election, right? During the election, we saw the California, you know, weed plays they were running as well. So, you know, you know, they don't slide concurrently, but, you know, when we're talking about when good news happens, they both benefit on either side of that line. All right? Let's keep it going. What else you guys have? BTSC. BTSC. Like, I don't know what is going on in Bitcoin anymore. You know, I remember there was a time you couldn't log on to Twitter or Facebook or something to that effect and not hear about Bitcoin, right? And what Bitcoin was doing and what Litecoin was doing. Now, you know, you got to look for it. Now you got to look for it. And all these guys who were so excited, they just virtually disappeared. Not all of them, but an overwhelming majority of the bandwagon types, right? The guys who never traded before Bitcoin, but got swept up into the mania, they're gone. They're gone. And they get mad if you bring it up. If you bring up the fact that they used to trade Bitcoin, they get mad at you. Man, why you bringing up that shit, dog? Come on, man. Shit. That shit, it been done, yo. That shit been over with, yo. Don't bring that shit up, yo. Like, but you were so excited about it. I mean, you know. I mean, you were the one trying to convince me why I wasn't talking about it. Why am I still talking about stocks? Bitcoin is the future. That's what you told me. Don't get mad at me. You know. Shit. They were in my chat room saying that bullshit. You know, brother at the gas station. That's what I'm talking to. Brother at the gas station. Hey, man, you need to be up on this Bitcoin, man. You need to be up on this Bitcoin. I like, well, sir, you know, it's you know, you can't, it's a, you know, I can't determine the value of the asset. That means it's worthless. It has no value. You know, everybody's got a different price, and, you know, I can't use it for anything. You know, there's certain retailers that won't take it. You know, and the retailers who do take it have never actually had somebody come in and use it. Shit, man, you need to be up on this Bitcoin. Okay. You know, where it is now. You know, and I'm not saying this to insult them, because I understand, you know, quick money gets a lot of people excited. All right, because we love shortcuts. We love the idea of, you know, being able to go in with a little bit of money and come out with a bag. I get it. But, you know, you get to a point where you realize that sometimes, you know, good things take time. Good things take time. All right? Let's keep it going, man. That's why trading and investing makes sense. Blockchain technology is what matters most, not those shit coins. Absolutely. I think there's future in the blockchain. There's future in the blockchain. I've said that. You said you had a good run, but everything comes to an end, then you go short. Yeah, but here's the thing. They didn't even give you an opportunity, you know, to play the downside move. Right? I mean, because nobody wanted the other side of the trade, and I get it. I know there were some brokers that offered that opportunity. All right, there were some that did. For a while, there were more than one, and then, you know, they started taking L's and eventually gave up. You had some of them like Bitcoin that just said, fuck it, we just going to take your money and run. We're just going to take your fucking money and run. You know, the game was up. We ain't got time to figure out who and what we owe. We just going to take your money and we gone. I mean, these guys actually were able to convince people to give up their hard-earned money for a currency, bro, that wasn't accepted anywhere. Peep that game, dude. Peep that game. You know, they didn't even give you Bitcoin back, bro. They gave you some, what was it, BitConnect tokens? That wasn't accepted nowhere, bro. Nowhere. Crazy shit, man. When you just look back on it, like, crazy. Yeah, it came out the same day, never went up. So, Callie, you think the futures had something to do with it? Are you saying that Bitcoin futures had something to do with it? You said, I love Bitcoin. That's why I keep talking about it. I keep talking about it because it was the greatest thing I've ever seen, you know, in finance in my lifetime so far. Was Bitcoin, man. We'd never seen anything like that. We've never seen anything like that. And I don't know if we'll see it ever again in our lifetime, because that's kind of one of those things that kind of happens and then, you know, it doesn't happen again. Trevon James. I've been trying to get that dude to come on my show, but I think I hurt myself with that one episode I did with him in jail bars and shit. LGCY Legacy Reserves. Looks like it's a limited partnership. This is kind of funny. You know, these trades, and they do very well. As you can see here, doing very well. I don't know what the volume is, but it looks like it's picked up recently. LGCY. Nice play. Yeah, George M. Yeah. But, I mean, going back to that shitcoin, Redcoin. Or remember when I was, I almost got involved in those scammers with Bitcoin 2X. You know, shout out to the people who remember that Bitcoin 2X, man. And literally, the next day, this guy basically disappears. I'm so happy. I barely, you know, I wasn't able to get anybody involved in that bullshit. You know, he had taken the money and ran. Yeah, Bitcoin 2X. What's going on, Dr. Butterfly? What's going on, Smitten? You said that was a shit coin. It very well, yes, it was. It was a shit coin. I'll be the first one to admit it. And then there was another group of guys. I think they were Gold Coin. It was Gold Coin or something like that, and they wanted me to come on board about it, and I chose the guys over at Bitcoin 2X because it felt like, oh, I could sell that better. And then when Gold Coin started losing value, man, they were blowing up my inbox, man. Please, can we come on your show, please? Please, please, let us come and talk. 919, Bats, what's up, man?
Sal, you're cracking me up.
Bats, you there?
How you doing?
Hey, good, bro. What's going on with you, man?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you loud and clear.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, you were just cracking me up with your impersonations. That's funny. So, yeah, can you still hear me?
Yes. Oh, yeah, loud and clear, bro. You're good.
Okay, so I've got a few picks. You know, I know the caller who called in about the two OTC stocks. With the way this market is going, you really have to trade the actively traded stocks, the known names. So just as a word of advice to him or anyone on the group, try not to trade something that, you know, you either haven't seen actively traded. So on that note, today we're just going OTC. I have maybe close to 30 OTCs, but I'll just handpick a few that have made an impression on me.
Okay, no problem.
So let's go with Max D. Do you know the story of Max D? I'm just going based off of
Max
popularity.
D, the sound technology play. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so that looks really good. Today it just breached the 200 and crossed over that. It's had a couple of good days, so I could see this one continuing to go up. Volume looks really, really good on this one, so I'm ultra positive about this one.
Okay.
All right, moving on. Let's go to, I'm just kind of going through them. Andy, A-N-D-I. That's one that has had very good run or popularity from about the 20th of December last year. Mm-hmm. This one, again, yesterday formed a hammer signal right at the 200 simple moving average, and today basically had a very good day, 41% or close to 42% increase bouncing off that 200 simple moving average. And it's really all about finding the popularly traded stocks, looking for some kind of support or bounce off of, you know, major simple moving averages. And you've talked a lot about that on your show. Mm. So that's Andy. Mm-hmm. Another one that's also, you know, been kind of like Andy, where we saw activity on this one as early as maybe October of last year, but it started really taking off beginning of this year, first week of January, and that's IFXY. IFXY. Beautiful hammer signal today, right on the 200. Mm. So you want to kind of, whenever you get some type of like a good candlestick signal, whether it's like a bullish hammer signal that's lower RSI, that's forming on a major moving average, you want to pay attention to that because a lot of people are looking, you know, at those kind of support or resistances. So that's IFXY. quickly just going through. Won't take that long. You talked about RNVA. That one's good.
Yeah.
RXMD, that one closed below the 50 and today breached the 50. So pretty much I think the buyers came in kind of wanting to establish a low at the 50 simple moving average. So, bought that stock back up. It did have the last week or 2 weeks. It's had a rough time, but looks like that could be an uptrend, and the volume was really strong today on RXMD. Let me just flick through again. I think those are the main ones. I will post this list. Okay. DIRV. DIRV has also been one of those that have had some good days, particularly this one, where volume initially started picking up around the first week of February. The volume then died down for a few days, and the volume took back up, I guess, around about the 12th of March. So this one has been, under the eye of traders since about the 12th of March. So, and once again, this one looks like it may be bouncing again off the 200 simple moving average. So DIRV is looking really good.
Yeah, this
and then
one,
last,
and that DIRV too, that was a killer move from March to April, bro. I mean, I'm looking at possibly almost 600% on DIRV. That's a nice move. Wow.
And then in reference to, how Bitcoin is trading, I would limit, I think, my trades to 3 Bitcoin stocks right now, OTC stocks. There's GBTC. That's your main one. GBTC is the one you want to look at if you want to trade it. Then there is, BTSC and BTCS. My opinion about Bitcoin is it's trading just like the VIX or trading like the SPY. They will have good days and then switch to a bad day.
Yeah.
There's no consistency there, although I do agree with you that the market's going down. You've got Trump right now calling for an extra $100 billion in tariffs against China. That's not going to play nicely. I think we should see the market come down, even though it kind of looks like we have a good day, we have a bad day. But the feeling is that it's going to drop further. At least that's my opinion on that. And then there was one I wanted to ask you about that I know nothing about, but I always see it crop up every once in a while. LVVV. So LVVV, what is that company and what do those guys do? I just haven't had time to look up all these things because I've just got a lot of stocks that I look at.
Yeah, LVV is another one that's been around for a long time. I think they used to go by another name. Well, most of them have, but I'm not familiar with them. But I do know they went by something else.
Okay.
Matter of fact, let me see. There's a quarterly report, and I'll do some research on that here on the show.
Okay.
But LVV, yeah, they've been around for quite a while, and they did go.
Okay.
Yeah, Semper Flowers. There we go. They used to go by the name Semper Flowers, and then they changed their name.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the other one, ACBFF. Someone brought that up. Beautiful. I think I would call this one a bullish abandoned baby. I mean, it's close to a morning star, but clearly there's a huge demarcation where that doji is a kind of very much lower than, 2 days ago, as opposed to today's gap up. So that's a very good sign on that marijuana stock. Related to that one as well, obviously there's the other Canadian play, TWMJF. That one is also looking like it's going to bounce. And then your favorite, you brought this one up, MCOA. This one is one I'm trying to decide which one carries more weight, HEMP or MCOA.
Yeah.
I think historically maybe MCOA is something I've seen more movement from. So these are the type of stocks, like especially you were referencing marijuana stocks. If it's at a price a nice low, you could just get in right now and wait for Jeff Sessions to get fired and watch the stock like shoot up, 50, 100%.
Oh, absolutely.
And,
I have no doubt that's something that could happen. If, and it's sad because we're talking about a man losing his job, but I don't give a fuck about him. I mean, this guy's an asshole, but I mean, that would be, especially when you're talking about an MCOA or a hemp at where they're trading at now.
Right.
This is a great opportunity for you to get in at some of these lows, right, with very little downside risk. And once that asswipe gets, escorted out the building, you're sitting on some huge gains as that news comes down.
Absolutely. Then we've got Mitch McConnell in his home state trying to get marijuana removed off the controlled substances list. So that could, give you a positive result. I don't know if any of these OTCs are Kentucky-based, but if you can find a marijuana stock that's Kentucky-based, I would say as a speculative play, if it's at a good price, maybe think about getting into that, because that specific law of removing it from the controlled substances list in Kentucky, that's, it's state-based. But if there are any marijuana companies right now, OTC stocks, that look to be at a good price, as a speculative play, I'd actually, hold on to that stock. And if that gets off the controlled substances list, we should see a bounce in that.
Ooh, boy, that would be so nice to see. I mean, because it's only going to take one state, right? It's only going to take one state to do it.
Exactly.
And then the other ones are going to follow through. At the end of the day, there's a criminal aspect to it, but it's also money talks louder. And, unfortunately, there's a lot of states that have made a lot of money off criminalizing marijuana, but there's a lot more money to be made on legalizing marijuana. And I think people understand that. It requires a little bit more of a push, to get it there. But it's getting there. It's definitely getting there.
Right. And then in summary, when you're looking at OTC stocks, at least from my experience, focus not on the total dollar value, that also counts, but focus, and I've said this a lot on the show, especially on that OTC markets website, which seems to be the major OTC website right now, unless there are others. But focus on volume and focus on number of trades. Volume, pick something that's, over 1 million, or worse, maybe 500,000. That tends to be like the early movers. If you can catch those, maybe 500,000. But I would say, as a rough estimate, focus on all the stocks that are at least above $1 million. So I would actually rank it based on volume and then go to percentage change. And look for the positive gainers, but more importantly, look at the number of trades. So I wouldn't go anything below 100 trades. I mean, on a good day, the best performers you'll see normally average, 5 to 10,000 trades. Today, I think our biggest, the list of number of trades or volume is actually pretty consistent. But GBTC, the Bitcoin stock and the ACBFF. Focus on stocks that are actively traded and also have a high volume, and then make sure that these stocks have a history of running, coming down, running again, and just go by that. I think that, the caller that you bounced off the show, he may or may have been right about those, but none of those two tickers to me looked familiar where I'm like, oh, this one is a runner. It's got to be familiar, like an MCOA. We've been on this group on your show for a while. We know what the runners are.
Right.
So it's just simply waiting for the right moment. You're always like, when the stock comes down, hey guys, watch this stock, hold on to it, and give it time to run again. So, yeah, I appreciate all the advice that you constantly give us on OTC stocks. Focus on the popularly traded ones, and more than likely you'll succeed that way. Thanks a lot, Sal.
Appreciate it, Bats. Thank you, man.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Yes, indeed. Shout out to Bat Scientist. As always, great call from him. As always, great call from him. And did you see the difference? Did you see the difference when Ken, Bats, Anthony, or some of my other callers who've been watching? And again, I think that guy just hadn't been watching for a while, because you don't have to sell the BS, man. You know, you ain't got to come in here and, you know, tell us what the CEO and, you know, so-and-so, well, you know, that company's got a $65 billion. Whatever market cap that company has, it don't got shit to do with this small cap company that's you know, being ran out of a mailbox express. You know what I mean? That has to hire a promoter for $2,500 to get the market up. You know what I mean? You don't have to BS us. You don't have to BS us. But I get it, man. I get it. You know, guys want to do the pump and dump. All right, guys want to do the pump and dump. They want to get their shares, sell it to some other sucker, and then, you know, bounce with a check. You know, but I had to get up out of here. Bats, look at MJNA. MJNA, I noticed you didn't bring that one up, but I know, you know, you have several tickers to choose from. Please go ahead and put them in the chat room for us so guys can copy and paste or write down whatever ones that of interest. No, Corey Kwan. He was talking about AMMZ and some other bullshit ticker. I don't remember. Some other bullshit ticker. Bats was talking about LVVV. I was looking it up while he was talking. That company is described as a company that has a focus on providing chewable supplements and other functional foods in the general health and cannabis market. All right, as determined by needs, and to conduct cannabis-related research for the development and licensing of cannabinoid products in the United States of America. Okay. So they're trying to wrap a lot of things there. I mean, they're saying a lot of things there, but obviously it has some kind of MJ exposure. At least that's what they say. Interesting news that they are reporting that they are planning to move to OTCQB, which, for those of you guys who already know, is the second tier or the second highest level of transparency for OTC markets. OTCQX being the highest. All right. And there's Pinks, which is the lowest level, and then OTCQB. So OTCQB requires companies to stay trading above 1 cent a share, and also to submit SEC filings. All right. And to submit SEC filings in order to maintain that OTCQB designation. All right. Yes, indeed. CDE. And Rich Million. I'm not shitting on you personally, okay? I'm just, you know, the tickers were just kind of, you know, people like to take things personally here when we're talking about, you know, it's just tickers, all right? It's nothing personal here. CDE, Core Mining, precious metals and materials. Again, that's those mining companies, man. They're trading at historical lows. All right, these mining companies are trading at some historical lows. When you look at a lot of these mining plays, this is the weekly of CDE. As you can see here, this is a company that's, wow, damn, it's been around for a long time. I've got a chart going back to the 1980s. All right, this company's been around for a long time. And I don't see any reverse splits. Or I do see one split back there in the 2008, 2009. Maybe ones that aren't on the chart. But this company's been around for a very, very long time, as I can see. CDE. So definitely a company that, again, when sentiment changes in regards to these commodities, this is going to be one they probably want to look at. All right, looks like it's definitely a well-trusted, well-admired company. $1 billion market cap. That PE is high as hell, though. All right, PE is high as hell. Core Mining, nice play. All right, TRTC. TRTC, yep, another marijuana play. TRTC. This is one that you know, it's got a lighter float than most, if not all of them. All right, it's got a nice light float on TRTC. Kind of up there with MJNA in terms of legitimate operations. TRTC is one of them. All right. You know, when we're talking about marijuana, of course, you know, you got to go with your Kush bottles. That's another one, a favorite of mine. SRNA, that's another favorite of mine. SRNA is a steal here. 16, that's a steal, that company. POTN, right? That's another one. You guys remember POTN? POTN, that's one that we brought up here on the show at 39 cents. That's a good deal for that right now. All right. Boy, I would love to have, you know, that at a penny a share again. But yeah, we've had some great tickers here on the show. Absolutely. Strikeforce Technologies. I like Strikeforce. Let's see where DTII is at, though. Here's DTII. This is the weekly. DTII. All right. So obviously they might have some dilution issues here, but DTII, where that's sitting at right now, that probably is a pretty nice pickup. But Strikeforce is another one, though. Strikeforce is another one that, you know, again, people like to buy. It's ran before. All right. Looks like the share structure is a little bit better over there at Strikeforce. All right. Turning a little bit negative here, though. Looks like you'd have had that MACD crossover, and it looks like you are going into some bearish momentum here on Strikeforce. So be careful on that. Jay Bino, you said you would have never had guessed if waivers? No, waivers said that. What's going on, Kenny Dutton? POTN would have never guessed when you cashed out at 5 cents. Yeah, crazy, huh, waivers? Imagine if you had been holding it till now. I mean, of course, like I said, I mean, hindsight is always 20/20. But and it would have taken a lot of balls to hold that, you know, that high. But incredible run in POTN. Incredible run. Invictus Weed, Gene Simmons is the chief evangelist officer. Jay Bino, what's the ticket of that? I haven't seen Gene Simmons. Which Gene Simmons are we talking about here? Are we talking about the rock and roll Gene Simmons? Why do I think there's another Gene Simmons? I'm thinking. Why am I thinking another? Oh, Richard Simmons. Okay, I was thinking about Richard Simmons, the exercise guru from like the 80s and 70s. Richard Simmons. And that guy's rich as fuck too. All right. Okay, Gene Simmons, the rock guy. Yeah, the guy who had his own show for a while. Yeah, Gene Simmons. I actually liked that show. He had a show on TV that I thought that was pretty cool. I thought that was pretty cool that he had that show. It's badass. All right, Max D. Yeah, he brought up Max D. IVITF. IVITF. Okay. Yeah, tough time for appreciation. All right, so it looks like it's a Canadian. All right, looks like they announced that towards AB Laboratories. Yeah, I have no doubt he probably got a shitload of shares to co-sign. And it looks like they're listed in Canada under the ticker GENE. GENE. Nice, not bad. IVITF. Cool. Yeah, press that like button. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. What is IVFZF? Is this a separate company? Good Lord. Very little volume here, though. Might be a separate company, Invictus Financial. What's going on, Shirley Lewis? AXL, American Axle Manufacturing. Here's the thing on AXL, because this company is based out of Detroit, Michigan. I'm very familiar with this company. I had some friends who went to work for them. And this is one of the few companies in Detroit where, you know, if you're a brother who just, you know, you don't go to school or whatever, you end up in a job like this, people consider themselves set for life. You know, because this is one of those companies that's paying like $25 to screw in a bolt. I don't know how they're still able to do it, but they get it done, and they've been doing it for a long time. This is one of those companies, if you go back on the chart and you go back to 2009, 2008, dude, this company got to as low as like 75 cents a share or something like that. All right, 75, 70 something cents. And by the way, this is no reverse splits. No reverse splits, right? 2008, 2009, 57, yeah, like somewhere, no, like literally pennies. You know, $57, $56 a share went to as high as $26. You do the math on that kind of return. Do the math on that kind of return. But incredible. People thought, I remember those conversations, oh, are they going to lose their jobs? They did let some people go. I remember they did let some people go, right? Especially when they got rid of Saturn and a couple of, because they're very connected with GM and some of the other ones out there. But AXL, man, wow. You want to talk about a company that got to the brink and made it? You know, AXL's definitely got to be in that conversation. That was a stock that was borderline getting delisted. And, you know, got to as high again, you know, finally found its footing and got back to as high as $25 back in 2015 from 75 cents. From 75. Mitch said 6,400%. Absolutely, 6,400% return. All right. Literally on the brink. And as you can see, they were a dividend-paying company, too. They were up until that point. And then they've stopped paying dividends since. But they were a dividend-paying company up until that point. But AXL, nice, wonderful turnaround, man. Wonderful turn. Somebody's got to do a movie or a book on that. Because that was an incredible turnaround. I'll never forget that. Centron was ticker. He said, you know, Centron Research, at this point, I feel like, if you remember, he was a huge star on the OTC side, you know, and I'm kind of copying a lot what he's doing with my website, going after some of these OTC plays. And, you know, OTC dried up and he moved to some of these larger cap companies. And, yeah, he did go after Wayfair, but some of the things you know, these last couple calls he's made, I feel like he's kind of throwing some darts now. He's just kind of like, if it sticks, it sticks. You know, especially with the Shopify one and, you know, then one with what was that company that sells Herbalife? You know, he went after Herbalife and, you know, now it's Wayfair. And so now at this point, it's like, okay, I got a brand. When I come out and say something bad about your company, the stock goes down. I think he's just making money off that now. Like he's just like, all right, it's going to go down if I say it. And I don't even think there's anything really fundamentally wrong with the businesses. It's just fuck it. You know? Looks like he was proven right after all on Roku. Roku, it bounced yesterday. You saw Roku bounce, but as you see, Roku's going to head lower. Roku's eventually going to head lower. All right. But yeah, nice play, Shirley Lewis. I like that too. Definitely looks strong. Definitely looks strong. That's a manufacturing play that will win under a good tariff situation, man. I mean, you know, companies like that, these manufacturing companies that have been, tested time like that, they're going to win big time. They're going to win big time. Like those steel companies that Bats was talking about, X and Nucor and those, what was that other one that starts with an A, Bats, that we used to talk about? It's going to take some time to that tariff on steel to hit the bottom line, right? It's going to take a quarter or two, right? Because that new, that new, what's the word for it? Volume, that new volume of orders has to, hit the bottom line. It kind of takes time for that. So you're probably not going to get it this quarter, right? Not next month, but maybe the quarter after that, which should be, well, if we're going to get March, so we're talking about what? Maybe August? And then we should get a pretty nice quarter out of some of these steel companies. And you'll see it hit the big ones, which is going to be like the Nucors of the world. All right, Nucor. This is the biggest one. This is the biggest steel company in the world now. I think it's Nucor. And many of the other ones. AKS. Thank you, Bats. AKS. All right, AKS. All right. Yeah, so it's going to be a big boom to companies like AKS. This is a small cap steel. Well, not necessarily a small. I mean, it's got a $1.4 billion valuation, but it's small compared to the ones that I just put up. Right, but it's going to have a huge benefit to these kind of plays. So, if you want to go long, this is probably the opportunity to do it now. Let's take out the weekly on that, by the way. Let's see if we are okay. We still got a little bit of downside to go, but as you can see, it is kind of finding a bottom here. It is kind of finding a bottom here as we've gotten to some stable points in that RSI. All right, and as you can see here, here's the weekly candlestick. So look, it's holding these fours pretty well. It's holding these fours pretty well. So it looks like you could bounce off that. All right, and speaking of bounces, HMNY, we brought up HMNY the day before yesterday. We brought up HMNY on that candlestick here. Almost looks like a spinning top, but the shadow's a little bit longer and the body's a little bit smaller. Wouldn't call it a doji either, but boy, it had a nice little bounce yesterday. Gave it all, went higher today, but gave a lot of it back. You left a lot of people up there to 330s trying to squeeze people, and we said, hey, you got some guys short in here. If they can catch them flat-footed, who knows how high HMNY could go. Obviously, some guys got squeezed out, but for the most part, you didn't get that collapse that you saw in like an L-fin today. All right, you didn't get that L-fin type collapse where they were just really caught off guard in the strength of the move in L-fin. All right. Yeah. Cassie. Yeah, Chinese Cassie. That pump and dump Cassie. That's coming down, man. This is a Chinese. Well, no. What am I thinking? Cassie. No, I'm thinking about another one. There's a Chinese. What is it? KS. A Chinese manufacturing play that's also up right now. I'll look through my labels. KSI. This is actually a biotech company. It's a biotech company. Reminds me a lot of INFN a little bit too, but different lines of business. Is INFN. I'm still wondering what the hell is going on here. Huge divergence. Huge divergence. This should be coming down, but so much manipulation here. Going back to Cassie, though, as you can see here, last 3 days, 2 days to be exact, going lower, and I think you're going to continue to go lower here as the excitement wanes down. This was a stock that was, again, very, irregularly traded. All right, looking through the candlesticks, you can tell it wasn't much volume in the stock. Recently brought in a lot of volume on some of these recent moves, but again, as excitement wanes and those bid and ask prices start getting wider, guys start dumping pretty quickly. KJGI, I'm not a big fan. If you remember KJGI, I was a fan of King Gold jewelry. Those of you guys who've been watching the show, but then if you remember, they came out and got reprimanded by the SEC because they had to report that they were funnying the numbers. They were fudging the numbers, man. Look that up on King Gold Jewelry. They were fudging the numbers in the company. So King Gold Jewelry, they're like the K's of China, right? So if you want to buy your wife some jewelry, if you want to buy jewelry for a graduation, you go and get it from King Gold. Their brand is very high, has high appeal. It's considered a high net worth brand. So King Gold Jewelry, definitely look them up if you were interested in this stock. But yeah, man, another Chinese company, by the way, that now we learned that you can't trust their financials. Yeah, I got burned on that ticker. You said buy for my sister's wives. Hilarious. All right. Mankind Diabetes. Yeah, Mankind is a good one. That's another one that runs. Got a lot of spike ability to it, right? So Mankind's another one of those plays that, can take off. It can take off. Let's take a look. We're keeping going now. More tickers. Now. Not familiar with Now. Looks like industrial machinery and equipment. Looks like we had some heavy insider buying on this ticker. D Now. Company directors, shareholders ramping up shares in the stock. That's some heavy buying there too in D Now. All right, this is probably where you want to do it at. Look at the weekly. Yeah, looking at the weekly, probably where you would want to do that at. You see the company struggled here. You're at some historical lows for the company. Things are going in the right direction on the weekly chart, at least with the RSI as well as the MACD. Got decent volume, actually. I'm actually kind of impressed by the volume. 1.1 today, 1.3 is your average. Not the cheapest stock in the world, but, industrial play. Industrial play's got some significant operations. Looks like 4,000 employees. $1 billion market cap. D Now, industrial machinery and equipment. Yes, indeed. Organics. Not familiar with the company. I know we've talked about it in the past. Looks like you had a recent split to stay listed. Looks like you had a recent split. Not a big fan of these kind of plays where you just had a recent reverse split. That can bring in a lot of short sellers who smell blood in the water. So interesting play on that. Saw somebody bring up Dog. Look, Dog is a great play, but Dog, here's the thing about Dog. If you're going to trade the inverse, I always suggest guys go with a leveraged inverse play just because, when you're talking about, betting on something going down, we know that stocks don't go down for as long as they go up for the most part. Especially when you're talking about these Dow 30 stocks, right? These are very, highly capitalized companies. These are companies that once they get oversold, you'll start seeing quite a bit of buying. These aren't small cap companies. So when they do go down, they go down in short bursts, right? So it'll be 2 days in a row or 3 days in a row, then you get a bounce. And you want to magnify You want to take advantage of magnify your possible returns in that move like that. So I always suggest, guys, you know, if you do want to buy an inverse ETF, buy a leveraged one, right? Buy a leveraged one, and you don't have to commit to as much capital because it's a leverage. So you can put in quite, you know, a small amount, and over a short period of time, be able to generate a decent return. All right, a decent return. All right. So I think that's going to be like an S style, right? S styles is similar. It's not dog, but it's the same one. It's that short ultra Dow 30, but it's leveraged. And if I'm correct, S style is leveraged 2x. So whatever dog would do, this would do twice as much. But as you can see here, dog was down 1%, right? Dog was down 1%. S-Dow was down 3%. So leverage works in both directions, so up and down. So it works. It can kick your ass when it's going in the wrong direction, but when it's going in the right direction, you can make a shitload of money in a short period of time very quickly. All right. So S-Dow. Now those guys are up. I'm looking at S-Dow now. They're gonna have a great morning, and I have a feeling they're gonna have a great day. All right, it's going to be a very ugly day for the market tomorrow. I'm not seeing the kind of dip buying potential as we saw a couple days ago. You know, I think now the market's finally coming to, okay, this isn't going to come back up like we think it is. All right, and they're going to have another excuse for you tomorrow on CNBC. They're going to come up with another excuse. They're going to come up with another reason to get you to go in and buy calls when you need to be buying puts, all right? Or to go long some of these industrials or some of those FANG names when you need to be buying inverse ETFs or some of these, you know, possible commodity stocks, all right? But again, if you don't know what you're doing, settle for something like an SQQQ, you know, settle for something like an SQQQ, where, you know, you're seeing these Q stocks that are going to hurt and going to suffer under these tariffs. You can be able to make money on that side of the trade. Talking heads with media degrees, absolutely, man. You know, a lot of those guys, you know, once you realize the game, you understand how much they just don't know. They don't know. And nobody knows, right? Nobody can predict the future. But once you understand how this whole trading and the stock market thing works, you realize, damn, they are really full of shit. They are really full of shit. And for so long, I thought these people were so smart. Oh my God, he's wearing a tie and he looks so expensive, and you know, he's got his hair slicked back. He must be. Look at his words sound so complicated. Oh my God, you know. I thought they were just, man, you know, he's talking about all these complicated things. And once I figured it out, I'm like, okay, this motherfucker's guessing, man. This guy's guessing. You said Kramer. Yeah, Kramer too. But Kramer, you know, look, they're not going to let you go on TV and tell people not to buy stocks, man. You know, they're not going to let you go on TV and talk about going to cash or short or buy puts, or, you know what I mean? They're not going to let you go on there and do that, man. You got to understand, these companies, all right, these people who are going there, they work for investment banks and institutions that take money from people to trade for them or on their behalf, for family and, you know, friends, whatever it is. And they don't want to hear that shit. You know, that's why guys like I like to follow Peter Schiffs of the world. You know, they only bring them up when the market is really down, and then they want to hear that doom and gloom shit. They want to hear the truth then. You know, they want to hear the truth then. All right. You know, but right now, as you can see, we're suffering after hours. We're getting really beat up. You know, Caterpillar, you know, down $3 after hours. I'm definitely going to be possibly looking at a put opportunity in Caterpillar. This is a company that's going to take some huge L's in 2018, boy. Caterpillar, you know, China's got their own version of Caterpillar in their own country, right? Caterpillar still makes, you know, by far, you know, the world's best, what was the word? Heavy machinery products, right? But I know China wants, they got their own industry. They got their own industry. And I think if they can find a situation where, shit, you know what? And, you know, and that's just Chinese people. They're going to build up their country, right? They're only doing what, you know, everyone is supposed to do. That's all. China's just doing what they have to do to, you know, protect their people. That's all what they're doing. They're doing what every other responsible country would do. They don't want to be beholden to American capital. I'm feeling the Chinese. I'm right here with the Chinese, bro. They're keeping it 100 with us. Right? Yeah, I'm up big after hours. I'm huge. I went in big on TVIX, and when I posted that on Twitter, guys were like, "Oh no, I think it was Trading Jedi." Shout out to Trading Jedi. I love him. He was like, "Man, I don't know. It was a rejection of 20, something like that." And I'm like, "Dude, look, man, the man came out and told you that he's going to do whatever it takes to close a $500 billion deficit, dude. Any green day is a buying opportunity to buy puts, to bet even on more volatility. Any green day. You know, $500 billion has to be made up. This man's got 2 more years in office. That's a lot of volatility he's got to create to run on, you know, in 2020. So I don't know what you could see to say let's go long or buy that dip. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? And that's why they're getting killed right now after hours. That's why they're getting killed right now. And then you want to bet on going into Friday expiration? And when you know puts are more expensive than calls? I'm not betting against these put buyers on a Friday. Feel like TVIX girls, your channel. I feel like I'm the TVIX girl on your channel. Yeah, Candace, your TVIX for life. I love TVIX. TVIX, I'm scalping that shit like a motherfucker, man. Any TVIX under 950, I want it. Under 950, I want it. And here's the thing. You don't even have to, whatever it does that day, that's fine. I could be in at 950. It could go against me. I don't care. I know one day in the near future, I'm going to get my price. If it's not that day, it'll be the next day, or it'll be the next week. It'll be a week and a half later. It don't matter. Luckily, it's just that, it's been so far one of those things where you can play it, and an hour later you'll be in profit. The next day or a couple of days later, it's a volatility. It's based off the VIX index, so it's constantly going up and down. Historically, the VIX has typically been. Historically, I think they said 15, but we're in a different environment. We're in a much different environment. And when you look at the volatility index, right, we're at 18 right now. Right, historically, we've kind of been at 15 is typically the average. But as you can see here, we've had times where we've traded higher, right? If you go back to 2008, 2009, where the VIX traded, at insane levels. All right, but in times of high volatility, we get up there. We get up into those higher levels. And when you look at the TED rate, the LIBOR at lower prices, that speaks to more increasing volatility. So I'm a buyer of volatility here. I want to be long volatility because I think things are going to get worse. Right? So I want to be long here. And when it sells off, I want to be buying those cheap opportunities. Yeah, there was TVIX 929. Now you're gonna open up at 10, and depending on how things go tomorrow, you could end up mid 10s, maybe high 11s. Who knows? I think a couple of days ago we hit 12, and it can go a lot higher. It can go a lot higher on that. UVXY is another one. I saw somebody bring up Post Office Joe, UVXY. You can go with UVXY too as well. All right, UVXY is another one. Trades pretty the same. Pretty much the same way. It's just a little bit more expensive. I like TVIX because I get a bigger bang for my buck. If you want to go with a little bit slower pace, you can go with TVIZ, but TVIZ is very light volume. But TVIZ is basically TVIX, but at a slower pace. So a much slower pace. You don't get as big of a bang, but it's a medium term. So instead of TVIX is very short term, right? TVIX is today, tomorrow, but TVIZ is a lot more. This is kind of one of your I'm holding it for a week or 2 weeks or 2 months kind of play, and you're not going to get the wobble of a TVIZ. But here's the thing, TVIZ with the Z, it doesn't have that much volume. It's not that volume play because that's not what it's made to do. It's made to be a medium term kind of a hold. So you look at TVIZ. And again, look into my article that I recently put out on my website, Advanced Equity Research, where I kind of break down TVIX and TVIZ and a couple other volatility plays on my website. All right. Candace just said you never made that much money until the last 2 months. Holy shit, you can't sleep in anymore. Yeah, it's good money. I mean, I don't know. I don't like to preach the whole get rich anymore because I think the longer now I've been trading, and you really do have to love it and have a passion for it, but you just can't help but eventually grow your account over time when you invest your energy into understanding how all of this works. You just can't. You're just gonna win. You're gonna win long term if you dedicate the time, and you'll eventually find something that works for you, and you'll just keep doing it over and over and over and over and over again. All right. Yes, indeed. Yeah, we got the unemployment non-farm payroll tomorrow. You said if the number is ugly. Here's the thing. Whatever that job number says, it doesn't matter. I know those jobs are MIG jobs. I can go into my community and I know they're MIG jobs. They're jobs that pay very little benefits, if at all. Right? They're you got a lot of people out there. There's a huge skills gap in our economy, man. There's companies that, when you go back and look and read about the 1950s and 70s, about toward the end of the 1970s, when you got hired for a job, the job trained you to do the job, right? So at that time it was about, do you have the personality to show up for work? Are you going to be on time? Blah, 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 blah. And they trained you to do the job. And those were good paying jobs. Now they expect you to have all the skills in the world to do the job. All right? Now the only jobs where you're getting training before you do it, they're all low paying jobs. They're all low paying jobs. If you have a job where you get trained to do it, it's almost guaranteed. I can almost assure you it's probably a low paying job. Not all of them. Not all. I'm not saying all, but a lot of them are low-paying jobs. If you get trained to do it, right? High-paying jobs are now jobs that they say you got to come on. You know, you got to come on board with all the skills necessary to do it, and that's inherently un-American, honestly. You said they're MIG jobs. A MIG job is a job that you have no benefits, no vacation time, no sick for very if no sick time or anything, and no benefits, no traditional benefits that you get from good work. He said employers don't want to spend money for training anymore. And that's sad, man. That's sad. But we've created that environment. Again, that's why, I go back and forth with Donald Trump, because I still think he's a racist piece of shit, but I love the fact that he's got a very liberal business agenda. His business agenda is actually quite liberal. And it helps all people through the lower economic scales to begin with. He's inherently helping a lot of people who otherwise wouldn't have voted for him, right? Would never vote for him. But a lot of his policies, I hate to say it, but do benefit the people who are most likely wouldn't vote for Donald Trump because of his social and his rhetoric. But his policies do benefit them. They do benefit them. All right? The best thing that can happen, if you're one of these brothers out here who are one of the 50% unemployed, underemployed, standing on a corner, no real job or anything, is his immigration plan. His immigration plan, that's tough on immigration, gives you an opportunity to be able to if not find work, but at least be better positioned to find work. All right. I mean, it's just facts. That's just facts, and I don't care what the Democrats say. I don't care what the Democrats say. The Democrats are talking about bringing dreamers and this. The people who vote for you the most are they're the real dreamers. These descendants of slaves are the dreamers. What are you talking about? But like I said, I'm not gonna get into that because people get their feelings hurt. Oh, you're conservative, I ain't none of that shit. I'm just gonna keep it 100. You said there are no jobs out there. No, we just talked. There are jobs. They just don't want to train you for jobs. Cisco, Intel, Microsoft, they got jobs. They just don't want to commit to what companies used to do, which is, they would have like GM, General Motors in Detroit. They have an academy, right? So it used to be significantly bigger. There's an academy, right? Guys would come out of high school. You went into that GM or Ford or Chrysler academy. You learned how to do it, and you came out of that academy 6 weeks, 10 weeks, or 12 weeks later with a job that paid you enough to take care of a family, buy a house, have insurance, all the things you need necessary to do what you had to do. But instead of doing that, right, the companies that rule today, the GM, of the world, the Microsofts and Cisco's of the world, they will go to India and they will go and hire Akbar, right? They'll go to Akbar's campus at University of Bombay, or whatever the name of the capital of India is, and fly him first class, by the way. They bring him first class. A lot of people don't understand. They don't know that. But when they go to India to get talent, they bring them back to America first class. And they will fly his ass to Cisco or Microsoft headquarters. They will put him in a company hotel, right? And show him how to do the job. Show him how to do the job. And fuck over an American citizen. Yeah. I'm keeping it 100 with you, bro. You know, these companies, they don't give a fuck about the American people, man. They don't give a fuck about the American people, and you know, they will bring. And I say this as a foreigner myself, man. I don't give a fuck. You know, these guys coming in from India and all that, they you know, a few of them they will treat you nicely, but for the most part, they can't stand Americans. They hate Americans so much, bro. They bring women in from India. They bring their women in from India. They hate American people so much. They bring they bring their wives from India. They'll play Indian music. They'll play their food. They don't even associate with you. The most they talk to you about is at work. Hello, how you doing today? Okay, nice day today. Okay. I'm playing the football, you know, whatever that shit is, and then that's it. That's all they say to you. You know, they don't give a fuck about you. Shit. You see them in the mall. What are they wearing? They're wearing the sandals from India. You know. Smelling like curry and all that shit. And I'm not saying, again, not to be insulting. Not to be insulting. Okay. I ain't gonna lie, some of them, you know, some of them Indian girls got a fat ass butt though, but you know, but again, they don't like you, man. They don't like you. So it's an opportunity to at least be able to give the American worker with these tariffs at least a chance to compete, man, because shit's getting hard. And you gotta understand, these Indians, by the way, all right, their schools in India, they don't have loans, so they pay cash to go to school. And because they pay cash to go to school, their schools don't charge a lot of money. These guys are literally going to school for like $1,500 a semester. So they're coming here with no debt. They're coming here with no debt. They're getting an American job, $80,000, $120,000, $150,000, $160,000 a year, no debt. So they're walking into $300,000 homes, all right? Walking into $300,000 homes, all right? And living a better life than some of you who've been living here for 30, 40, 50 years. That's facts. That's facts. You know? Signing up to the credit card, boom, 750 credit score, off the gate. Off rip. Boom. Oh, yes. They get an amazing education in India. You know, they're getting an amazing education in India, man. Some of them better than here, because you got to understand, in India, they're teaching those kids coding, you know, I mean, shit, out of daycare, bro. Did I ever remember that? Oh, yeah, that girl. No, I couldn't find it. I looked for it after the show. I couldn't find it. I couldn't remember her damn name. If I find it, I'll bring it up again. You just don't have to remind me, but I couldn't remember her damn name. But she was just another one of them, you know, women I used to kick it with that, you know, and sisters know what I'm talking about. It's just one of those women that like half, you know, 90% of her body is ass. You know, 5'5" and just, you know, nothing but ass. But going back to these Indians, man. Going back to these Indians. Again, I don't say this out of spite. I'm just saying that nowhere else in the world can that happen, bro. Nowhere else in the world. You can't go to no other country and do that. You can't go to no other country and do that. And you know, become a part of another country's workforce, be paid by a company that's taking money from their government, and live better than the general population, and learn and live better than the general. There's no country that will do that. Only in America that is doing that shit. And it's not fair. It's honestly not fair to the American people, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The only way you go into another country is you an NGO, right? You're an NGO or some other bullshit in another country doing something like that, right? But you're not going to work for a private company that's taking money from the government, right? Because we have corporate welfare in America. It's not going to and live better than the general populace. It's not going to happen. Ain't no Chinese Chung Wei Industries is not going to hire your black ass to go to China and live better than Ming Lee. Okay? That's facts. But an American company, Cisco, Microsoft, Intel, they will go and hire Pakrish Rajab to come to America and live better than you. And he'll come here and he'll live better than you. You know? That's the truth. And then he'll come and look down and say, oh, look at the poor black people. Look at the poor blacks. The poor black, they don't study. The poor black, they don't work hard. They are lazy people. Motherfucker, you came here. Now, let me not go into that. Let me chill on that, man. Let me chill on that before I get suspended on that shit. But, all right. Let me go ahead and close out the show. It's been a great week. Look, nobody listens to the black guy. You know, and I'm all day, every day, giving nothing but good game when it comes to the stock market. My first show this week, what was my first show called? Market is showing weakness in episode 294. I put that a week ago. You know, a week ago. Market is showing weakness. Telling people buy the puts at that time. You're up huge. You know, I'm following my own advice, man. You know, I can't predict the future. I'm just looking at these moving averages. I'm seeing what these moving averages are doing. I told you what real estate was doing almost 2 weeks ago now. Real estate was showing weakness. I think it's time to go, and that's, I'm, you know, just following common sense, man. Just following common sense. So I appreciate all of you guys who enjoy the show, who get something out of it, all my callers. Another great episode, another great week. And guys who, you know, again, you're always going to have that swing back and forth. But in the end, this thing is coming down. This thing is coming down. And again, just look at the weekly 200 moving average. We're at 122. So we got a lot of meat still left on this bone. I'm not looking at the daily. I'm looking at the weekly, right, to tell you again where we are in the grand scheme of things. All right, let me get this line out of there. In the grand scheme of things. And as you can see here, it's been a long time since we've touched that line. All right, it's been a long time since we've been below or touched that line. All right, and there's no reason that people can give me, you know, my line is open all day, every day. Nobody can give me a reason for us to continue to go higher, but I can give you a lot of reasons for us to come down. And there are better reasons, and there are better reasons for us to come down than to keep going up at some of the valuations that we had at one time been. You know, at one time been. You know, we had Amazon. Amazon was at 1,600 for a minute. 1,600. Amazon had it was knocking on the door. Had like a $800 billion market cap for a second. That's insane. That's insane. He said that caravan is coming. Yeah, well, I mean, but that caravan, like I already talked about that caravan earlier in the show. That caravan is full of poor people who are being miseducated. And hey, you're gonna go to America. They're gonna give you a free house. There's a lot of political operatives behind that caravan. They're just taking advantage of poor people who don't have anything to live for down there. And many of the people who are on that caravan, they're not Hispanics. They're like the Indians. I don't know what the word for it is, but in Mexico, there's the Hispanics right? Who are the Spanish mixed with that blood, but then they're the kind of Indians, and a lot of them are the darker Indians who are, you know, subjugated and oppressed within that society in Mexico. The more Indian you look, the more oppressed you are in that society, because in Latin America, the whiter you are, the more privileged you live in their society. So they're leading them all up to literally to try to get them to see if Trump is going to kill them. Indignados, okay, yeah. They're leading them to the borders to see if Trump is going to kill those people. They're trying to see if Trump has got the guts to get those people killed. That's what they're going to do. He's going to make them walk. They're going to walk to the border, and they're going to see if the United States military is going to shoot. And I'm praying to God nothing happens, man. I'm praying to God nothing happens. NVCN, Death Spiral, the thing is a piece of shit. Yeah, it's a piece of shit. All right. I'm looking at that pop. I see that pop you're talking about. You know, I see that pop you're talking about, but there's just too much out there. There's too much of it out there. I'll watch it tomorrow, Poker Pro, because I love the fact that it's dirt cheap, right? But right, you can really stock up on it, but I wouldn't give it much thought. All right? Yeah, it's a piece of shit. So it goes down the toilet. All right, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate you. Another great episode. Another great episode. Let me go ahead and ring that bell. Another great episode. I appreciate all of you. All right, another great episode. End the week. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Hope you've been trading well. Again, just following the moving averages, man. That's all we're doing. I gave you guys all the videos. All of you guys should have that video. Right? That's all we're doing. Whether you're using the hourly or whatever it is. Right? To stay in on these trades. You know. Look at this. I mean, we're bears right now. We're bears. Where's that 100 at? Look at that. We're below the 100. We thought it couldn't break it today. Couldn't break it today. And now more news justifying the selling. Kenny Dutton, appreciate you. Gucci, Candace, and Thomas, appreciate you. Wande Casa, yes. Red Day tomorrow. Trader Marv, thank you, sir. Dr. Butterfly, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Butterfly. Callie Rob, Kayak Z, Jeff, the Mean Marine, they appreciate you, bro. Shirley Lewis, Brendan Smith. Yes, indeed, man. Blue Cousin, appreciate you, man. Shout out to all the people, new people. Press subscribe if this is your first time watching. Come on, man. You know you love this fire. You know, love this passion. Ricardo Joseph, thank you, sir. Sleepy, appreciate you. All my callers, all the people who are watching now and in the future. Grateful to you. Till next time, happy trading, folks. Enjoy the weekend. Take care.